For a long time, we all watched Suits thinking Mike Ross was the golden boy. He's brilliant and somehow manages to outsmart almost everyone at Pearson Specter. But let's be honest, not everything Mike did was reasonable. And what if I told you he's actually one of the most flawed characters in the entire show? So today, we're taking a closer look at why Mike might not be the hero you think he is.
If I tell you did that, I don't want to hear that you didn't. I should have fired you last week. You know what? I should fire you right now. But I cut you slack because your grandmother died. Well, you've used up the rope. You keep it up, I will fire you tomorrow.
Starting with his biggest lie and the fraud he committed. After writing tests for people just to make a living, Mike finally had the opportunity to live his dream of becoming a lawyer. He lied about going to Harvard and being a lawyer just so he could work as an associate for Harvey at the firm. Mike needed the job, and keeping up with that lie wasn't just desperate, it was reckless. Harvey's reputation, the firm's integrity, everything was suddenly tied to a story Mike made up in a 15-second conversation. And instead of pulling back, Mike doubled down. Mike started to enjoy working as an associate and being so close to his dream. But the problem was that his lie about Harvard threatened to end it all for him. After managing to go unnoticed for days, people started asking questions, especially Lewis, and Mike's job was at risk, so he just kept on lying to save himself. In the first episode, Lewis Litt told Mike that he had asked his cousin Mitch, who went to Harvard the same year Mike supposedly did, whether he knew him. Mitch said he had never heard of Mike. Panicking, Mike first denied knowing Mitch at all, then quickly changed his story and claimed he did. It was sloppy, risky, and the first sign that this lie wasn't just going to follow Mike, it was going to drag everyone else with it.
Harvard Trivia, the lightning round. Go. Pulitzer Prizes.
46.
Nobel Peace Prizes.
5.
What is the oldest book in the Harvard Library collection?
The Bible.
In another episode, all the Harvard alums in the firm gathered together and were singing one of their well-known songs. But Mike couldn't sing along. When Lewis confronted him, he just claimed he wasn't familiar with the song. And when Lewis tried to press further, Harvey walked in at the right time and claimed he didn't know the song either. Harvey saved the day for Mike, but that only made Lewis distrust Harvey even more. Harvey had already stepped in for Mike earlier when Lewis threatened to fire him in episode 1. Mike's big lie was becoming harder to hide, and Harvey was slowly becoming collateral damage. Let's take it back to season 1 again, where it all began. Mike had every opportunity to turn things around and go to law school, but he never did. One of the many examples comes in episode 6, when Mike encouraged Rachel to take the LSAT test so she could go to law school. He could have also taken the opportunity to take the test himself and become an actual lawyer, but he didn't. When Harvey asked Mike if he was finally ready to go to law school, he shrugged it off and said he was helping Rachel prepare. Meanwhile, Rachel felt pressured by Mike's constant reminders, and she repeatedly told him she struggled with taking tests. But Mike didn't listen. He thought he was helping her, but really, he was projecting. Instead of fixing his own situation, he pushed Rachel into his insecurity and called it support. Many fans love Mike deeply, but even they admit how selfish and unreasonable it was for him to refuse law school when he had every chance to fix his situation. His lie about Harvard didn't just endanger him, it nearly blew up Harvey's entire career.
Are you looking to save Lewis or to get yourself fired too?
I'm saying he did some bad shit. But so have I, and so have you.
You and I don't mess shit up. We fix it.
And still, Mike chose the easy route, even as the consequences piled up around him. The pressure he put on Rachel to chase a dream he wasn't willing to pursue himself was just the icing on the cake. Mike wasn't just avoiding responsibility. He was handing the fallout to everyone around him. And unfortunately, this was only the beginning of how much Harvey would have to pay for Mike's choices. But that's not even the worst thing he did. Once Mike committed to pretending he was a real lawyer, he became determined to protect that position at all costs, even if it meant biting the hand that fed him. And this is where things really start to fall apart, because Harvey Specter wasn't just his mentor. He was the person Mike ended up hurting the most.
Harvey, I am sorry, all right, but I need you to listen to me now.
Listen to you? You know when I would have listened to you? That night.
Jessica threatened me.
I don't care.
Fans always like to ask this question. Who is Mike Ross without Harvey Specter? And honestly, we all know he wouldn't have gone far without Harvey. Yet Mike still chose to put Harvey's career at risk every chance he got. In the very first episode, Harvey told Mike to let go of his past if he was actually serious about being a lawyer. But there was a little problem. Trevor. Trevor is the same friend who introduced Mike to delivering weed and chose not to warn him when he realized he was going to deliver it to the police and get arrested. Harvey warned Mike to stay away from him, but for some reason, Mike found it hard to leave Trevor in the past. In the first and second episode, Mike still held onto the briefcase that contained the drugs Trevor had given him, because a part of him was still thinking about going back to his old life. And the worst part? Every time Mike hesitated, Harvey was the one who paid the price.
Mike,
Hey!
I'm not giving this to you because you need it. I'm giving it to you because I don't. And I don't know if I'm ready to forgive you yet or not.
After Harvey found out, he told Mike he could only keep working at the firm if he let go of the suitcase and stopped messing with Trevor, but Mike had other plans. Weeks later, Trevor got in trouble and was arrested, so he called Mike to bail him out. Mike agreed, and then went out drinking with him. He showed up to work so hungover that even Jessica noticed, and that was a terrible look for Harvey's brand new associate. Mike might be great at studying files and fixing problems, but he's usually the one creating the disasters in the first place. And unfortunately, this wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a pattern that kept getting worse. Another example is when Harvey asked Mike to watch Miss Stone, an opposing client who was supposed to sign a document admitting that she committed a crime in Season 1, Episode 6. Mike ignored his instructions and went to get water, leaving her unattended. She ran away as a result, and Harvey suddenly found himself on the verge of disappointing a longtime acquaintance he had promised results to. It wasn't bad luck. It was carelessness, and Mike didn't learn from it. Harvey managed to cover that mess by tracking the client down and convincing her to sign the document. But even after that, Mike managed to sabotage an even bigger deal. He was supposed to sit with an elderly woman who was about to sign a contract to sell her toy company, a deal worth $200 million. All Harvey told Mike to do was keep her company until he arrived. Instead, Mike started talking about how he barely spent time with his own grandmother, which made the client rethink her choice and back out of the deal to spend more time with her grandchildren. Sweet sentiment. Terrible timing. Jessica was furious. Harvey had to fix it again. And the firm was once more paying for Mike's inability to follow basic instructions. The deal was worth $200 million, and Jessica was furious. Harvey then had to step in again and convince the client to sign the deal by flying in her grandchildren. Mike might be good at studying files and clearing a mess, but he clearly struggled with not creating those messes in the first place. His disobedience to Harvey's instructions almost cost the firm multiple deals and repeatedly damaged Harvey's standing with Jessica. And unfortunately, this was only the beginning, because Mike's mistakes were about to get even bigger.
Anyone comes at you with any threat at all, you come to me. I don't give a shit if it's the Queen of England. You come to me, you tell me everything. That's what goddamn loyalty is.
If there's one thing Mike knows how to do, it's be a victim. Once he did something wrong or made a bad decision that backfired, his first thought was to act shocked and get defensive. In the second episode, Lewis took Mike to play tennis and then asked him to smoke with a guy who was a prospective client. Mike caved, even though Harvey had warned him to stay away from drugs. And when Harvey confronted him, Mike didn't own it. He blamed Harvey for not tutoring him properly. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was Mike refusing to take responsibility. That wasn't the first time Mike tried to shift blame onto Harvey. In an earlier episode, Harvey asked him to file a patent claim for a client. Mike had no idea how to do it, so instead of asking for help, he made a shady deal with Gregory, an associate. Gregory refused to file the patent until Mike finished digging through piles of files for him, making Mike miss the deadline and file it late. As a result, the client almost lost a huge deal he had been anticipating. Harvey had to work overtime and even meet with a judge who claimed Harvey had slept with his wife just to salvage the situation. Once again, Mike made the mess, and Harvey paid for it. After Harvey fixed that disaster and confronted him, Mike argued that Harvey shouldn't have asked him to file the patent in the first place. Mike always chose to play the victim, even when the mistake was entirely his, and Harvey suffered the consequences every time. For someone who insisted he had everything it took to be a lawyer, Mike rarely proved it. And unfortunately, these were just warm-up rounds compared to what happened next. But costing the firm multi-million-dollar deals, jeopardizing clients, and putting Harvey's job at risk still wasn't the worst thing Mike brought to the firm.
Michael James Ross.
Yes?
You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud.
Mike had gotten comfortable in his lies and refused to go to law school like Harvey advised, even when the opportunity presented itself. Eventually, the lie caught up with him, and Mike was arrested for conspiracy to commit fraud in the season 5 finale. After Mike's arrest, the firm took a massive reputation hit, and it became painfully clear that hiring him had been one of Pearson Specter's biggest mistakes. Clients immediately started pulling their business, terrified of being associated with criminal activity. Partners left. The firm was on the edge of bankruptcy, and the person Harvey had given a second chance, the one he believed in, ended up being the reason Pearson Specter lost its credibility. Things got so bad that a special master was brought in to monitor the firm, all because Mike thought he could cheat the system and get away with it. That special master, Faye Richardson, made everyone's life at the firm miserable. And while Pearson Specter had pushed boundaries before, Mike's arrest turned quiet rule-bending into a full-blown crisis. Faye didn't show up because the firm was unlucky. She showed up because Mike's actions forced the entire place under federal supervision. Her presence suffocated the firm, stripped Harvey of his freedom to lead, and pushed everyone into survival mode. If Mike had stayed out of trouble or gone to law school like Harvey advised, none of this would have happened. He had everything handed to him and somehow managed to ruin it for everyone else.
Louis Litt?
Yeah.
My name is Faye Richardson. I'm here on behalf of the New York Bar Association.
Here to do what?
This is a court order granting me full control of your law firm.
It's easy to love Mike because he gives many reasons to, but when you lay out the facts, the good doesn't outweigh the damage he leaves behind. If Mike were a side character, fans would call him reckless, selfish, and unbelievably lucky. He isn't a hero. He's a brilliant mess who dragged an entire firm down with him and still walked away looking like the good guy. The facts tell a very different story. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like this video, subscribe for more, and let me know which character we should analyze next.